Sure. Good morning, learners and viewers. Welcome to the session of Masters of Business Administration. This session is for Management of Machines and Materials, MMPC 009. Today we will be discussing about work and job design, productivity, and the remaining part of the block. We will start with work and job design. Work design is a systematic investigation of contemplated and present work to formulate through the ideal system concept, the easiest and the most effective technique for achieving necessary goals. Job design, it aims at outlining and organizing tasks, duties, and responsibilities into a single unit of work for the achievement of certain objectives. It also outlines the methods and relationships that are essential for the success of a certain job. In simpler terms, it refers to what, how much, how many, and the order of tasks for a job or jobs. Job design essentially involves integrating job responsibilities or content and certain qualifications that are required to perform the same. It outlines the job responsibilities very clearly and also helps in attracting the right candidate to the right job. Further, it also makes the job look interesting and specialized. There are various steps involved in job design that follow a logical sequence. The sequence is as follows. The first one is what tasks are required to be done or what task is the part of the job. How are the tasks performed? What amount are tasks are required to be done? What is the sequence of performing these tasks? The whole process of job design is aimed to address various problems within the organizational setup. Those that pertain to one's description of a job and the associated relationships. More especially, the following areas are fine tuned, such as checking the work overload, checking upon the work underload, ensuring tasks are not repetitive in nature, ensuring that employees do not remain isolated, defining working hours clearly, and defining the work process clearly. What is the benefit of job design? Following are the benefits of a good job design. First one is employee input. A good job design enables a good job feedback. Employees have the option to vary tasks as per their personal and social needs, habits, and circumstances in the workplace. Second one is employee training. Training is an integral part of job design. Contrary to the philosophy of leave them alone, job design lays down emphasis on training people so that are well aware of what their job demands and how it is to be done. Work or rest schedules. Job design offers good work and rest schedule by clearly defining the number of hours an individual has to spend in his or her job. Adjustments. A good job design allows adjustments for physically demanding jobs by minimizing the energy spent doing the job and by aligning the manpower requirements for the same. Job design is a continuous and ever evolving process that is aimed at helping employees make adjustments with the changes in the workplace. The end goal is reducing dissatisfaction, enhancing motivation, and employee engagement at the workplace. Nadler proposed the following five work design assumptions or philosophies: increasing productivity and developing manpower effectiveness are the objectives for studying work systems. Work systems can be anchored in three states of conditions: design, betterment, and improvement. All aspects of work system, regardless of the system level, are to be considered in work design. People, their abilities and talents are an integral part of work design. This results from the recognition that people at all levels can really understand many of even the most involved techniques and situations. The work study approach. Work study is indeed an important tool for achieving higher productivity efficiency of an organization in a scientific manner. Work study is a generic term for those techniques, particularly method study and work measurement, which are used in the examination of human work in all its contexts and which lead to systematically to the investigations of all the facts which affect the efficiency and economy of the situation being reviewed in order to effect improvement. Method study: the systematic recording and critical examination of existing and proposed ways of doing work as a means of developing and applying easier and more effective methods and reducing costs. On the other hand, work measurement is the application of techniques designed to establish the time for a qualified worker to carry out a specified job at a defined level of performance. The main objective of work study is to improve the effectiveness of three important parameters of production, such as three M's, that is, man, machines, and methods. Now, method study and work measurement. They are closely linked. Method study is concerned with reduction of the work content of the operation, while work measurement is concerned with the investigation and reduction of the ineffective time and the subsequent establishment of time standards for the operation on the basis of work content as established by method study. Now, what are the basic work study procedures? There are eight basic steps, some of which are common to both method study as well as work measurement. We can see that is selection, that is common to both. Examine or record, that is again common to both. Examine, which is also common to method study and work measurement. And for development or develop, that is the work of for method study. Measure is under work measurement. Define is again in work measurement. Install, method study, and maintain is work measurement. Method study is a technique of methods study in which methods are used to determine the effectiveness of an operation and reduce inefficiency of an operation. The most important thing in technical consideration is to ensure availability of relevant technical knowledge with which to make the study. Human considerations and reactions need to be accounted for too. Now, what are the convention systems and definition of activities used in work analysis? There is a symbol, it is in the form of zero, or we can say O, and the name of the activity is operation. Now, how it is defined? An operation occurs whenever something is produced or a task is accomplished. An operation can also occur when information is given or received when planning or calculation takes place. Arrow, that is for the movement, and that is related to transportation. The transportation occurs when an object is moved from one operation to another, from one place to another, except when such movements are a part of operation or are caused by the operator at the workstation during an operation or an inspection. The square is for inspection. The inspection occurs when either a qualitative or quantitative inspection is carried out to ensure that the object is a record is to be made of all the relevant facts relating to the present method, which would be subjected to a critical examination. We can see over here a system or an information enters the invoice into system. Takes 15 minutes for processing. Then we have to match the invoice with the purchase order. Takes 10 minutes. Now it is sent for authorization. So again, 5 minutes. You have to wait for payment for authorization. It normally takes 60 minutes. Then it comes back to the accounts, again 5 minutes. And the final closure is pay the supplier. It normally takes 30 minutes. This is basically different. A process is being shown with the help of different symbols. Need for graphical methods and charts. Many types of charts and diagrams from a vital part of the recording stage in work study, especially while conducting method study. It is preferable to adhere to standard conventions of charting. Some charts which are particularly relevant for work study are: number one, chronological sequence analysis. In this case, break down the process under study into events or activities chronologically. There could be product, material oriented process charts or person oriented process charts. In process charts, a sequence of event is portrayed diagrammatically by means of set of process chart symbols to help a person visualize a process as a means of examining and improving it. Here we can see a different operations process chart. There are three activities taking place, and that from different stages, the object or the material which is being transformed comes up, and you can see over there that it is square over, and below its inspection area, the assembly is done, and again it is stored. So this is basically with the help of how a process chart is drawn or made. An operation outline process chart. The figure what we have seen, giving an overall picture by recording in sequence only the main operations and inspections. Only the major events such as principal operations and inspections are recorded. It provides an overall view, a quick idea of the entire process from beginning to the end at a glance. A more detailed type, highly developed version of process chart is the flow process chart, which is a graphical representation of the chronological sequence of all operations, transportations, inspections, delays, and storages occurring during a process or procedure, and includes information considered desirable for the analysis, such as time required and distance moved. Examination. After record comes examine. In method study, problems are typically solved by examining critically and systematically the facts that has been collected and recorded in some form of process charts. Close examination of the event or activities in any working situation usually reveals number of key stages in the progress of the job. Then comes development. After developing the alternatives and their consequences, a final selection based on an appropriate criteria is to be done in order to develop the new method. This approved method can be drawn up in a process chart form. Then this is then compared with the existing methods. A summary of the number of operations, delays, inspections, storages, and the total distance should be made. You will invariably find that there would be considerable reductions in the non-productive areas. The proposal for the improvement can now be submitted for approval. Then comes your installation. As so, now you are reached the final stage of the method study. Installation can be divided into 5 phases. Gain acceptance of change by departmental supervision. Number two, gain approval of change by works and general management. Gain acceptance of changes by workers involved and their representatives. Retain the workers to operate new methods, and continual monitoring of whether or not the new method is being used or not. Now, the next part is work measurement. Work measurement is concerned with the determination of the amount of time required to perform a unit of work. It provides management with the basis for comparison of alternative methods and also a basis of initial manning. What is the procedure for work measurement? The basic steps to be followed subsequently for measurement are: number one, select the work to be studied after having made a primarily survey. Second one is record all the relevant data pertaining to the circumstances in which the work is being done, the methods and the elements of activity in them. Third one is measure each element in terms of time over a sufficient number of cycles of activity to ensure that a representative picture can be obtained. Fourth one is examine the recorded data and time elements critically to ensure that unproductive or random elements are separated from productive elements. Also examine the recorded times of each element and determine a representative time for each. Fifth one is compile a time for the operation which will provide a realistic standard of performance and will include time allowances to cover suitable rest, personal needs, and contingencies, etc. Sixth one is define precisely the series of activities and the methods of operation for which the time has been allowed and issue the standard time for the activities and methods specified. The above steps of work measurement are essentially a three-stage procedure of analysis, measurement, and synthesis. The analysis stage occurs when the work is to be measured in broken down into its constituent parts. Measurement takes place when the available information is gathered together into a suitable form for use. Now, what are the different techniques for work measurement? The principal techniques which are used to measure work are time study, work sampling, predetermined motion time system. In short, we call it as PMTS. Analytical estimating, synthesis from standard data, and the fifth last one is most. Time study, it is a technique for determining as accurately as possible from a limited number of observations the time necessary to carry out a given activity at a defined level of performance. Objective is the objective of time study is to determine by direct observation, by stopwatch, the quantity of human work in a specified task and hence to derive the proper time for the task. Here we can make macro motion study or elements of job having duration time of 3 to 4 seconds. Time study procedure. Basic time study equipment or tools consist of a stopwatch, a study board, pencils, a pocket calculator, and measuring instrument for distance and speed. The basic steps in time study procedure are select the job to be studied, short cycle or long cycle, repetitive or non-repetitive in nature. A job might be selected for a variety of reasons. It could be because of a new job, a change in method for which a new standard time is needed, a complaint received from workers or their representatives about the time allowed for the operation. The worker can say that the time what you have given or what you have permitted for completing a particular job is either too high or too low, a bottleneck in operations, a change in management policy, such as introduction or withdrawal of an incentive scheme, recording all the information about the job, the operator, and the surrounding conditions which are likely to affect carrying out of the work. Plan the program by which all the constituents can be measured economically and accurately. Record a complete description of the methods and break down the operation into elements which would be conveniently observed, measured, analyzed, and synthesized. Third one is measure. With a stopwatch, the time for each element repeated for sufficient number of cycles so as to provide reliable data covering under all expected conditions. Learning curve. It is defined as the ability of a person under certain circumstances to increase one's efficiency or skill by a constant rate as the cumulative production quantity increases geometrically. That is, increases by doubling. One word of caution in trying to establish standards. It could happen that the operator selected for the time study is performing the job for the first time. Sometimes it could be the case when the operations being performed are complex in nature. In such cases, it is quite possible that initially the operators takes longer time to accomplish these jobs as compared to the subsequent cycles when he would have acquired necessary skills and feel in learning the job. Usually, this learning curve is hyperbolic in nature. You see, this comes down. Some of the advantages of learning curve are it allows us to predict the cost of future product or an operation. It determines the point where we can start to apply work measurement for establishing the standard time for an operation. Sometimes it could also provide a basis for transfer and promotion of employees. The general approach to determining the rate of learning is to identify the relative importance of each factor contributing to learning. Now, what is meant by work sampling? Work sampling is a fact finding tool and a measurement technique for quantitative analysis in terms of time of the activity of operators, machines, or any other observable state or condition of operation. This tool is particularly useful when information is urgently needed about man or machine, especially in the analysis of non-repetitive or irregularly occurring activity where no complete method and frequency descriptions are available. Work sampling can be used to study almost any type of work, repeated or non-repeated, factory or office, executive or supervisory, clerical or engineering, handlers, salesmen, nurses, and what you have. Uses of work sampling. Work sampling provides a way to study an operation for possible methods improvement, aid supervisors to organize their time, assist in establishing standards of performance, establish control on labor, material, or machine utilization, and it indicates if certain activity should be studied in details. What are the advantages of work sampling? It is quite economical and less time consuming than time study. It is usually easy and convenient to use as no stopwatch or other timing devices are needed. It can be used to measure several activities such as retail stores, offices, warehouses that cannot be measured by time study. No trained analyst is required to make observations. Work sampling measures the utilization of workers and equipments directly. Now, we move on to the next part, that is introduction to job design. Job design is the concisely planned structuring of work effort performed by an individual or a team of persons. The objective of job design is therefore to develop work assignments that meet the requirement of the organization and the technology, and at the same time also satisfy the personal and individual requirements of the job holder. What is meant by degree of labor specialization? Specialization of labor is the two-edged sword of job design. On the one hand, it has made possible high speed and low cost production and has therefore increased our standard of living. On the other hand, extreme specializations could lead to adverse effects on the worker, like wardrobe, etc., ergonomics, or human engineering. Every industrial system consists of some or all the following components. That is hardware, the physical aspect, software, the non-physical aspect, the physical environment, and the organization. And objective of the designer is to arrange these components to give a harmonious and efficient operation. By utilizing ergonomics, the designer's opportunities to create a system which reliably achieves its function are improved. Ergonomics is somewhat synonymous with the human factors with engineering, which is the field of study concerned with the abilities and limitations of human beings in the design of tools, instruments, and workplaces. Environmental factors. It is temperature and humidity in which the workers or the staff or the office people work. Now let us discuss the effect of temperature and humidity on the performance of workers. Studies have been conducted both in laboratory settings as well as in industrial settings, yielding a quite bit of statistical data on accidents. In an investigation into loading of coal tubs in coal mining, the results revealed that there was a slow but steady increase in loading time in minutes as the effective temperature increased from 19 degrees to 28 degrees Celsius. Vibrations. During work, a person could be frequently subjected to vibrations from various resources. The effects of movement and vibration upon the person may range from motion sickness through slight discomfort to physical damage. Excessive vibration of amplitudes of the order of zero point 0.2 at frequency of about 10 to 20 cycles per second has been shown cause to damage to the lungs, rectal bleeding, blood in the urine, and constipation in some cases. In some studies of injuries due to use of handheld vibration tools or pneumatic drills, instances have been reported of white fingers, dead hand, or Raymond's phenomenon. Noise. Now let us discuss yet another important environmental factor, namely noise, which can best be described as unwanted sound. Noise could be a frequent cause of fatigue and irritation resulting in loss of output. The ear is quite sensitive. The risk of damage to the ear appears to be greatest from the frequency of sounds between 2400 to 4800 cycles per second. Protection against unavoidable noise may be provided by some form of earplugs or simple cotton wool, which might be a cheap and effective preventive remedy. Visual environment. The majority of industrial tasks will depend for their efficiency on adequate vision, and therefore lighting arrangements may play an important role in determining the efficiency with which tasks are carried out. The standards of lighting and the recommended level of illumination at workplace are good aids for work and job designers. It is said that at normal level of illumination, the ability to see increases in proportion to the logarithm of the illumination. Illumination basically it is given in terms of lumens per square feet, that is Lm per ft square, or 1 lumen per foot square, or it can be 1 foot candle, or lux, that is lux is 1 lumen per meter square, which is equal to 0.0923 fit candle. Then comes your behavioral dimension of job design. Traditionally, jobs have been designed to minimize immediate cost and maximize immediate productivity. We must not forget that behavioral application in job design can and do influence performance. With this goal in mind, let us examine the behavioral ideas of job enlargement, job enrichment, job rotation, and participative job design. We will start with job alignment. If job becomes too specified, workers perceive their job to be monotonous and boring, and this leads to job dissatisfaction. Many workers become alienated, and the result is high level of tardiness, absenteeism, and turnover. Under such situations, we should think of job enlargement. An enlarged job would offer the employees opportunities such as a larger variety, enhance the opportunity to use a variety of skills, and autonomy, the opportunity to exercise control over how and when the work is completed. Task identity, the opportunity to be responsible for an entire piece of or program of work. And number fourth is feedback, the opportunity to receive online information. Thus, job enlargement is the procedure of redesigning jobs or modifying work so that employees can feel involved in and responsible for what they do. Then comes job enrichment. It presumes that many jobs are so highly specialized that operative workers can no longer visualize how their work contributes to the organization's goal. The worker tightening a nut on a bolt all day long loses sight of the fact that this nut helps hold a wheel on the new automobile and thereby provides safety for some new owner. Job enrichment is a procedure of redesigning work content to make the job more meaningful and enjoyable by involving employees in planning, organizing, and controlling their work. Management must supply information on the goals and performance that previously was not available to the workers. Job rotation. This involves movement of employees into a job for a short period of time and then make them out again. Yet another way to approach jobs cannot be designed or automated to eliminate undesirable features is to move or rotate employees into the job for a short period of time and then move them out again. This rotation techniques seems to be working well in a large number of situations that seems to defy job enrichment and job enlargement. Socio-technical approach to job design. The consideration of both the technology of production and the social aspect of the work environment is called the socio-technical approach to job design. What is sought is a design that provides a high level of productivity and quality and at the same time ensures a satisfying job and work environment. The socio-economic approach emphasizes the need of integrating the social consensus of work with the traditional cost versus quantity considerations of production. On the basis of studies carried out at the Tavistock Institute, the following guidelines for job designs are offered at the level of individual. Optimum variety of tasks within the job. A meaningful pattern of tasks that gives each job semblance of a single or overall task. Optimum length of work cycle. Some scope for setting standards of quantity and quality of production and a suitable feedback of knowledge of results. Fifth one is inclusion in the job of some of the auxiliary and preparatory tasks. Sixth, inclusion in the job of some degree of care, skill, knowledge, or efforts that is worthy of respect of the community. The seventh one is perceivable contribution of the job to the utility of product for the consumer. Some group level guidelines are providing for interlocking tasks, job rotation, or physical proximity. Jar. There is a necessary interdependence of jobs for technical or psychological reasons. Second one is the individual jobs entail a relatively high degree of stress. The third one is the individual jobs do not make obvious perceivable contribution to the utility of the end product. Now we move to value engineering and quality assurance. Value engineering and value analysis. In short, we term them as VE or VA. It is an important and powerful approach for the improvement in the performance of the products, systems, or procedures and reduction in costs without jeopardizing their functions. The term VE and VA are used almost interchangeably. Other terms used to convey the same concepts are value assurance and value management. L.D. Miles defined value analysis as an organized, creative approach which has for its purpose the efficient identification of unnecessary costs, that is, cost which provide neither quality nor use, nor life, nor appearance, or nor customer features. Value engineering should not be treated as a mere cost reduction technique or cheapening of the product. It is more comprehensive, and the improvement in value is attained without any sacrifice in the quality, reliability, maintainability, availability, and aesthetics, etc. It was traditionally applied in the area of hardware projects, such as product design, though these concepts are equally applicable in software projects, in the system and procedures. Now, what is the difference between value engineering and cost reduction? If we talk about value engineering, it is function oriented, it employs innovative approach and ideas, it exercises maximum creativity, and there could be divergent or convergent ideas. There is a cost visibility on the following functional basis, such as basic function, secondary function, unnecessary function, and essential function. And the value engineering approaches does not compromise with performance, quality, and reliability. And no doubt, it is a systematic and sequential approach. On the other hand, for conventional cost reduction, it is an item-oriented activity. It follows past practices. It is analytical in approach, and there is only convergent ideas. But we want to make it. There is a cost visibility in the following parameters, such as process-wise, materials, labor, overhead, transport. There is a tendency towards compromising quality and reliability, and its approach is arbitrary and ad hoc. What is functions and value? Function is the basic purpose of an item or an expenditure. It may also be a characteristic that makes the item work or makes it to sell. Miles defined function as the basic purpose of each expenditure, whether it be for hardware, the work of a group or man, a procedure, or whatever is to accomplish a function. What are the different types of functions? Value engineering discipline deals with the functions of item, products, systems, and procedures. It is a functional approach, a customer oriented approach. Identification of the functions, therefore, constitutes an important aspect of value engineering. The term function is to be used to mean the purpose or use of the product. Functions can be of two types, basic function or secondary function. If we talk about basic function, the primary purpose of the product. And moving on to secondary function, other purposes not directly serving the primary purpose was but supporting it. Many a time, poor value may result in because the functions have not been precisely understood. redundant or unnecessary functions have been imposed. Value. The term value is used in many different ways and is frequently confused with the monetary price or cost of an item. However, value is not synonymous with cost. Value may be perceived as the ratio of some of the positive and negative aspects of the object. Thus, value can be considered as a composite of quality and cost. It is more in terms of worth or utility. Thus, a ratio of quality to cost can be treated as the value of the product. If its cost can be reduced for some quality or quality can be improved with some cost, then the value improvement can be said to occur. The term value can be divided into four types. First one is use value, the properties and qualities which accomplish a useful purpose or service. Second one is esteem value, the properties, features of attractiveness which causes us to want or to own it. Cost value, the sum of labor, material, and various other costs required to produce it. And the fourth one is exchange value, the properties or qualities which enables us to exchange it for something else what we want. Value engineering in job law. The major advantage of the approach is that it is systematic and organized approach that examines all aspects of a problem, employing a questioning attitude. This formal procedural model of value engineering process is called value engineering job plan. In the beginning, Miles proposed job plan. It was just a modified form of the steps involved in work study. Subsequently, it has been modified and a number of approaches have been emerged which are essentially similar. These job plans have various steps and phases with their associated value engineering techniques at the each phase. In one of the job plans, the seven steps involved are preparation, problem selection, information, evaluation, creation, selection and presentation, and implementation and follow-up. Fast diagram as value engineering tool. Fast diagram is basically function analysis systems technique. In short, we call it as FAST, FAST. The FAST diagram, whose initial stands for functional analysis system technique, is a diagram constructed from left to right, which requires the logical relationship between different functions. And to answer the question how and why, the four directions of fast diagram are when at the top, how on the right, why on the left, and when at the bottom. The how and why directions are always along the critical path, whether it may be a major or minor critical path. The when direction indicates the independent or supporting function up or activity done. Construction of fast diagram of a ball pen. We will have an example over here. The fast diagram is represented as in the figure. The first step is to identify all functions of the parts. The parts of the ball pen and the functions of part are shown in the table. This different aspects related to a ball point pen. As far as your how part is concerned, it is the size, weight, design criteria, how to improve its aesthetics look. If we move on the right side, we have why. There are again four questions. Provide grip for holding it, facilitate maintenance for keeping it, allowing air, that means a port has to be there, and identify the company. If we come on to the lower part of the diagram, we can see how to communicate ideas. It is make marks, it contains ink, control flow has to be done, position of the refill, provide tension to grip, and close all parts, restrict movement, hold parts, and that part is related to provide parts. That means all the four activities are being performed and studied. The parts of the ballpoint and functions of part. Tip. What is the function? It improves look, okay, part. Remarks it should be chromium plated. Plastic neck. Hold part, provide grips, facilitate maintenance. Setup in tip. Spring for providing tension. Refill, it contains ink, control flows and restrict movement. Ink in refill, make marks. Plastic barrel to enclose part, identify company, airflow. And there should be a hole in the barrel and name on the barrel. What are the benefits of value engineering? Value engineering helps in improving efficiencies as well as effectiveness of product, systems, and procedures. In general, it enables people to pinpoint areas that need attention and improvement. It provides a method of generating ideas and alternatives for the possible solution to a problem. It provides a means of evaluating alternatives, including intangible factors. It provides a vehicle for dialogue, documents the rationale behind decision, materially improves the value of goods and services. At the end, it must be re-emphasized that value engineering and value analysis is an extremely powerful methodology for cost reduction and value improvement and is becoming more and more popular in the industry. It is applicable in all areas hardware, products, services, systems or procedures, and in all functional processes purchasing, designing, producing, packaging, physical handling, and distribution. Now, what is quality assurance? What is the concept of quality? One of the aspective definition of quality is fitness for use. An equally good definition is conformance to requirements. Note that in both the definition, quality is defined relative to use rather than as a general characteristics that may be intangible. If a product or services lives up to the expectation, it is of high quality. Now, what is the cost of the quality? Cost of quality is a measure of the cost to the firm for a lack of quality. It is very difficult to measure and often cannot be found in account books. One has to carefully back calculate as most of the cost elements are hidden. Quality costs are distributed throughout the organization. Most organizations include only the cost of quality control departments, whereas the cost of inspection and measurement carried out in production departments are often ignored. More importantly, the cost of bad workmanship, wastage, and rework, etc., are often not included in quality cost. Quality is free, but it is not a gift. This statement sums up the opinion that effective, permanent quality improvement is difficult to achieve, but more than pays for itself in increased productivity. Quality management, quality assessment is an investigation of the levels of quality being achieved. Quality control, on the other hand, begins with assessment and includes action taken to eliminate unacceptable quality. The typical quality control program is based on periodic inspection, followed by feedback to the results and changes of adjustments wherever necessary. Quality assurance includes quality control, but it also refers to the emphasis on quality in the design of products, processes, and the jobs, and in personal selection and training. TQC, that is total quality control. This refers to the managerial commitment to quality so as to include the quality aspect in every functional area of work, production, marketing, finance, and personnel. It also includes behavioral science based technique like quality circles and zero defect programs. Naturally, the management of quality is an extensive area of study. The concept of quality circles have been a runway success in Japanese industries. A quality circle is a group of employees whose assignment is to identify problems, formulate solutions, and present their results to management with suggestions for implementation. Quality organization. Quality management ensures that an organization, product, or services is consistent. It has four components: quality planning, quality assurance, quality control, and quality improvement. Quality management is focused not only on the product and services quality, but also on the means to achieve it. Quality is a judgment of how excellent something or someone is. What are the four types of quality control? There are several methods of quality control. These includes X bar chart, Six Sigma, 100% inspection mode, and the Teguchi method. There are seven primarily quality control tools, which include checklist, fishbone diagram, control chart, stratification, Pareto chart, histogram, and scatter diagram. Now we move to the most important part, that is waste management. Waste management is a multidisciplinary activity involving engineering principles, economic, urban, and regional planning, management techniques, and social sciences to minimize the overall wastivity of the system under consideration. A systematic approach to waste management encompassing the waste of all kinds of resources at all stages should be adopted. However, as the material constitutes a major fraction of the total product cost, material wastes are of critical importance. Complementary of waste management and resource management. A system basically takes some input, processes it, and gives the desired output. Some input is essential in whatever form for the functioning of a system. An ideal system is conceptualized to transform the total input into useful or desirable output. In view of the known physical law of nature, the existence of an ideal system is not possible. That is, 100% utilization of resources is not practically possible for any system. To paraphrase, some waste is inevitable in the functioning of the system. You can see that input processing output system. The diagram shows input is there, processing is done, the output comes. During the processing, we have waste. The waste can be recycled. Again, it could be brought down to the input. And if it's total waste, nothing can be planned or nothing can be expected from it. It can be sent to the output. The main objective of waste management is to minimize the waste, thus aiming at the ideal system, while the resource management aims to maximize the utilization of the resources. The goal of waste and resource management is same, that is optimal utilization of the available resources for higher efficiency and growth of the system. But the approaches are different. We can see that how the things are related, complementary relationship of waste management and resource management. With this, we will be concluding today's session.